Good morning. This is Jack from Chartered Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of. I'll check that out now. On the morning of Thursday, the 25th of September. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to shoot training signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a look at ES. Now, ES. We're finally seeing the retracement that I was hoping to see. There was a little possible head and shoulder set up here. I was hoping for a retest of the high, which would have given us better topping patterns, but we didn't see that. But we've got a little head and shoulders here. It's broken down. It's got a target, which is, I think, in the, well, that's why I speculate. I've got that down in about the 66.40 area, and one area I'm watching below that is this possible head and shoulder neckline in the 66.09 area. At the moment, we have no positive divergence, which is encouraging for more downside, and obviously we're getting pretty close already to this head and shoulder target, which I'm thinking will probably be hit. All right, looking at NQ. NQ has got another head and shoulders. Again, that's getting pretty close to the target. Again, I've got a big level I'm watching down here, which is just under 24,250, and that's a possible larger head and shoulder pattern. We've got a few days until the end of September. We could see some significant reductions in that time. So I am wondering about lower. I'm not really expecting to see an awful lot from this, or at least there's not much to suggest this will be a big retracement, but a modest retracement was what I was looking for, and at the moment we are getting that. In terms of RTY, we've got a head and shoulders here, a double top here, and that's just broken down. Now that's got a target. Hang on, sorry, I'll measure that up for you quickly. It hadn't broken down last time I looked at it this morning, but support is at 24.48. So the minimum target is in about the 2400 area, with the extended target at about 23.90. I'm quite liking that. I've got a possible head and shoulders here, level here at 24.06, and I've got another one at 23.90. So that would be a pretty good match with that extended target. I'm not really thinking that we're going to see bigger patterns form and play out, but I am looking at it. We had a possible 60-minute bicycle brewing, but obviously we've lost that. We are getting kind of oversold in the short term. On YM, is there a pattern here? Well, there could be if we see a bounce here, which I'm thinking we might get. We could see a right shoulder on a head and shoulders form. At the moment, there's nothing I'd really point to and say that's a reversal pattern. But again, we've got a possible level below and it's not far below. Hang on. I'm just trying to get my... All right, finally. Okay, I've got a possible head and shoulder neckline down here in about the 46.014 area, and I am thinking we could see a bounce from there and see a right shoulder bounce. We will see how that goes. All right, looking at DAX, we're breaking up slightly from this falling wedge, but obviously one thing you can do straight after that is go back and retest the lows. Equally, we could hit this trend line again, and that would just change the falling wedge resistance, and then that would become unbroken. So I'm leaning towards seeing at least a retest of the low. I've got that in the 23,400 area. On ESTX, we've got a lovely looking double top here. It hasn't broken down yet. Actually, I think it might have broken down looking at the price here. So if it has broken down, then I think that's got, the obvious target would be a back test of the monthly pivot at 53.59, although I am aware that is only obviously the monthly pivot until Tuesday. After that, we get all new ones. All right. Bear with me a second. Sorry, I've been cautious about opening my charts lately because I'm having a couple of memory issues. RAM issues rather than ordinary memory issues, obviously. All right. In terms of the daily charts, we obviously didn't get any daily negative divergence. We could form some, but we need to start seeing some rallies soon. Otherwise, we're going to go too low. On the bigger picture, we do have an obvious support level, obviously at the 65.55 area at the daily middle band, and that would be the obvious big target that we could be heading to. That's still significantly above, but after the overnight decline of 35, it's a lot closer. we're still talking about another 60 points down. I think that potentially that's doable. We'll see how that goes. On the hourly chart, we've got a weak RSI 14 sell signal. That's probably going to reach target at the open today. We've got some positive divergence here, and that's not going to deliver anything because that's going to be wiped out at the open. We did have an RSI 14 buy signal fixed, or did we? Yes, we did. But we're probably going to lose that at the open too. On Qs, again, if we went back and retested the high, I'm not sure we got that kind of time, to be honest. Yeah, I know. Well, that's crossed my mind too. On the other hand, yeah, but anyway, but I am thinking that we could see a retest of the high, but I think in terms of setting up a double top from here, I'm not sure we got that kind of time in this decline, and I'm certainly not assuming that. So in terms of the downside, we're breaking down below the 50-hour moving average here, and we are obviously at the open going to break down below this rising wedge support from the September low, and I'll come up with I'll have more tomorrow, but we've got a head and shoulders here which we're breaking down. I'm looking for more downside. The obvious target here would be the 58369 area, and honestly that might hold it, but that would be obviously a potential larger head and shoulder pattern. In terms of Dia, no current divergence, could set up with a retest of the high, of course, a sell signal. We were testing support at the main rising wedge from the April low at the close yesterday, and we're going to break this rising wedge from the August low today. All right, let's have a look at IWM, and on the daily chart, again, retest the high, we can set up some negative divergence. We've got a decent looking double top here, which is going to break down at the open. I'm thinking we've got a shot at getting back down into this rising megaphone support from the April low, and I've got that currently in about the 231 area. Looking at the 15-minute chart, no current divergence, and at the open today we are likely to break down through this rising support from the August low as well. So really, in terms of seeing some more downside, that's looking pretty good here. We've got basically no positive divergence, and we've got targets below, and we've still got quite a lot of window left. Although I would note that the one bullish day in this window is tomorrow. So we will see. A weak RSI 14 buy signal has fixed and has a shot at making target here on the DAX daily. We are failing at the daily middle band at the moment, although the falling wedge is suggesting that after this decline, then we've got a pretty good chance of going higher. On Nikkei is still stalled at the wedge resistance trend line I drew a couple of weeks ago, and I am thinking we may well see a retracement here. We now have, we didn't quite get high retests yesterday, and it seems unlikely we'll get them today, but if we did, we'd actually have a halfway decent looking negative divergence on the daily RSI 5. All right, great. Let's have a look at the dollar chart. Now, I did a big post on the dollar today, so check that out. And we'll see how that goes. But in the short term, I'm wondering if this could be a bear flag. This is a potential little level top. And we've now got, which we didn't have earlier, possible 60-minute sell signal brewing, although I think likely this goes higher. And you're seeing that on the currency charts where your USD is extending lower, GBP is extending lower, USD JPY is extending higher. We've got a whole string of possible signals here, and I am aware of that and watching that. But what I'm not really seeing here is much in the way of reversal patterns. On an Australian dollar, for instance, we've got a head and shoulders here, which has just broken down with a target in the 64.50 area, no, 64.40 area, I think. We've got other possible topping patterns here. Nothing really on euro. Actually, nothing really on GBP. It's nothing really there. Okay, mainly it's the US dollar. We'll see. On the dollar, is there a large IHS? Let's have a look. No, not really. We do have an option of making an IHS because we could go up to 98.20 and then see a pullback and then go up from there. But the problem with this IHS is that you see this low just before it, which goes lower than the right shoulder. It weakens it. Normally, I wouldn't draw an IHS that way. It doesn't mean it couldn't go off and make the target area, but it's a low quality IHS, and that's why I haven't got it marked in. This would make a far better IHS right shoulder, and this would make a good one too. but I'm not really seeing that this is likely to be one. Although that's a shame. That would be breaking up right now. All right, looking at ZB. ZB is going lower at the moment. Week 60-minute buy signal reaches possible near miss target. This is the point at which I'll sign that off and go no current divergence. We're pretty close to the first double top target, which I've got in the 115.25 area, and we've got an extended target down here in the 115.10 area. ZN, I am wondering whether we're going to lose this buy signal today. We are extending lower. We'll see how that goes today. Looking at CL, CL's back at the top of the range, and generally speaking, I'll be looking for a turn down at this stage. We may well get one. No current negative divergence, though. HO, we actually had, sorry, I haven't marked this in yet, but we've the 60-minute sell signal. Yeah, no, I have marked it in. The 60-minute sell signal failed. Sorry, I haven't changed the arrow on here yet. So I tend to put in the skeleton arrows for these when they've failed. 60-minute sell signal has failed, and another possible one is brewing. We've come back in and retested this high. This is a possible second high of a double top. So I'll be watching that. On RBOB, we haven't seen as extended a move up. No current negative divergence. All of these are at a level where lately they've been turning back down again. NG, seeing a bit of a rally here. I was wondering if we might see a bit more downside here, but in the short term, we're seeing a nice rally. That could turn back down again, but we do have a potential overall double bottom here, which I'm watching with resistance in the 345 area. And as I've said, seasonally, we've got a rise here. Okay, looking at GC. GC, we've got a possible head and shoulders forming here, but nothing really to write home about. We had a sell signal that has made target. On SI, we've got a sell signal that hasn't made target, or the possible near miss target. But at the moment, we're rejecting a little at the moment, but we're extending up. I have been saying the big picture target is a retest of the all-time high at 49.51. We've been making steady progress towards that. On Palladium, almost retested this high, but not quite. 60-minute sell signal fixed. That hasn't made target either. On Platinum, no current divergence. We've gone up higher. On the bigger picture, I'm wondering about an IHS breaking up on Platinum, and we are breaking a big resistance area here. We could be looking at the start of an extended move up. HG. HG's gone a little higher than I expected for a flag forming here. So I might be mistaken about the flag, but either way, this still looks like a bearish consolidation of some kind. We will see how that goes in the short term. I haven't marked it in, but we've actually got a 60-minute sell signal, which is obviously now taken hold and is well on the way to the target. On KC, we've got 6-minute buy signal that's reached the possible near miss target, waiting to see if that can get back over the weekly pivot at 382.25. But we're holding the monthly pivot pretty well here at 351.50. On SB, wondering about a possible IHS forming here. There is a possible alternative of a double bottom, but if it were turned up from here and went up over the weekly pivot, I'd be calling this an IHS. So possible larger double bottom, possible even larger double bottom. I'm thinking SB could go up a long way from here. Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah, that'll be the reason, Doug. All right, CC. CC, we've got a nice looking falling wedge here, and I'm thinking this obviously overall looks bullish. We could be bottoming out here. 60-minute buy signal is fixed. We're seeing a bit of a rally. I'm watching the weekly pivot and the falling wedge resistance, which is just underneath it now. CT might be drifting back towards another low retest. Lumber, we've made the buy signal target and we never broke up from the double bottom. Doesn't mean it's not going to break up, but the odds of it breaking up are reduced now that we don't have a 60-minute buy signal anymore. I am wondering about that. It's quite an attractive target at a test of the monthly pivot at 16.917. Still not counting it out, but at the moment looking less likely to deliver. Looking at ZW, and ZC, I am thinking we've got a lot of potential upside on these. I'm planning to do bigger picture posts on these two and sugar over the next week or two. I'm just talking about the overall setup for and cotton as well, actually, that could take this an awful lot higher. We'll see how that goes. But I think a 60-minute sell signal is fixed. and not delivering target anymore, and we're testing the weekly pivot resistance. We'll see how that goes. On corn, like we had a little double top that broke down. At the moment, that's failing back up into a retest of the high, and once that happens, we've still got an IHS target which is in the 441 area. On soy, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, hasn't made target yet. Kind of looks like a bear flag forming though. On ZL, kind of looks like a bear flag forming as well. 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target. Live cattle no longer looks like a bear flag. Keeping an open mind as to what this is. Looks like a little bull flag forming, leaning towards seeing a retest of this high here in about the 243.5 area. On lean hogs, we are reversing under the trendline resistance at the moment. So main target within the megaphone would obviously be megaphone support currently in about the 85.8 area. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Pleasure as always. Everyone take care, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.